Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the Meishiv Nefesh, and he continues to describe to us how a person can view the Yisurim, the suffering and difficulties in their life, and not get defeated and knocked down by them, but rather use them as a chizuk, as a way to strengthen our emunah and our connection with Hashem. And he brings today from Rav Zerach Braverman, one of the Talmidim, the students of the Maharil Diskin. This goes back a while, this Meishiv, this story, and it tells us a very big, important idea. At the end of his life, Rav Braverman had tremendous Yisurim and suffering. During those days while he was writhing in pain, some of the people that were standing near him heard him say the following: Ribono shel Olam, Master of the universe, Maida ani lecha, I admit to you, al Yisure, on my Yisurim, I thank you for the Yisurim. She'ilmale ha Yisurim, because it wouldn't be for the suffering that you're putting me through. Yefshar la'amid bifnei bezdin shalmayla, it would be impossible for me to stand before the heavenly tribunal, the courts that are going to judge me at the end of 120 years. So those people that were standing near him, they asked him, but Rabbi, the Gemara Muva, in the Gemara it teaches, Loiheim v'loi scharam. Some of the sages were suffering and they said, Loiheim, we don't want the suffering, v'loi scharam, we don't want the reward, meaning leave the suffering and the Yisurim away from us. We'll have enough other reward in this world that we don't need such Yisurim, such suffering. So Amar lehem Reb Zerach. So Rabbi Braverman said, Heim yochol lahashus liatzmam loxus kizeh achloi ani. He said, the sages of the Gemara, they could look at Yisurim as a luxury. They had an extra advantage of getting more reward in the world to come, and therefore they could say, Loiheim v'loi scharam, we don't want the suffering and we don't want the reward that's going to come along with it. But me, said Rabbi Braverman, me, am I on that level? I need the Yisurim in order to give me a chelik, a portion in the world to come, so that when I will finish in my job here in this world, I'll go to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I'll put all of my Yisurim, my suffering, on the sides of the scales for my merits, and that will tip the scales in my favor, and I'll be able to go into the heavens, into Shemayim. But without the Yisurim, without the suffering, I'm not going to be able to survive the judgment and earn myself a portion in the world to come. And this is the message that we are learning today. And that is that although that Yisurim, that suffering is difficult and it's painful and it's hard, it's all true. And it's an inconvenience and it's frustrating and it can even knock a person out, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever the Yisurim might be in a person's life. Nevertheless, keep in mind, this is going to be the key to our entrance into Olam Haba, the world to come. It's going to be the key that's going to allow us to argue with the Bezdin Shamayla, the heavenly courts above. It's going to be the reward that we bring before HaKadosh Baruch Hu to say, look what I endured while I was here in this world. Look what I had to go through, and still, Hashem, I believed in you. Still, Hashem, I woke up in the morning and I daven. Still, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though that the money was so difficult to come by and I was worrying day and night how I'm going to make ends meet, still, I made sure to put what I could afford on the Shabbos table and sing nigunim, beautiful songs that elevated the level and the environment of happiness and joy that was in the house. Even though that it was hard to pay for my tuition this year, nevertheless, my wife and I, we were Meiser Nefesh, we sacrificed, we took other things out of our life in order that we could place our son or our daughter or our children into the right environment that they should learn and grow what it means to be a Jew. Look at me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with all the suffering, with all the hardships, with all of the difficulties, with all the pain, with all the frustration. I never stopped believing in you, and I never stopped serving you, and I never stopped trying to draw myself closer to you each and every day. And that's zechus. We ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu that this should be what allows us to stand before the heavenly courts above. Wishing everybody a wonderful day, a day in which we recognize how loving and caring HaKadosh Baruch Hu is, and we use the challenges of life. We don't ask for them, but as we've learned already, they're going to be there. We use the challenges of life to reaffirm and exclaim our great faith and trust and love in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All the best.